Hey, boys and girls, I'm back with more math. Today is lesson 33. We're on session 3, and we're on page 779 in your math books. So yesterday we did two-dimensional shapes, which mean like shapes that are flat, like super flat. Like this sphere looks kind of flat. But today we're doing three-dimensional shapes, and at the top of your book it says naming and describing three-dimensional shapes. So these shapes, three-dimensional is 3D. So they're shapes that pop out at you. So please don't mind my horrible drawing, especially of a rectangular prism. But on the top of your page, on page 779, you have some shapes. The first one is a cone, and it's like a lime green. It's a cone. Like think of like an ice cream cone or a birthday hat you wear is a cone on your head, right? The next one is a rectangular prism, and all that is a rectangle, but 3D, so it stands out. A cube is a square, but again, 3D. So these are all the same length all around. These long pieces are all the same length, and then these shorter ones are all the same. The next one you have is a cylinder. It's like they took a circle and they went up like that and then cut it off. So when you look down on it, it's a circle on this end and a circle on that end, but then round on the sides like this, okay? I know it looks silly, but it's true. And then a sphere is a circle that's 3D, like a ball, like the earth is a big sphere, all right? So it says, how are these shapes the same? These shapes, cylinder, cube, rectangular prism, and cone. And how is this shape, this sphere, different? So I want you to think about that. And I have some shapes here that can help you figure that out. So the first shape that I have up there is cone. And this is like the closest thing I could find to a cone. It's missing the point that this is like to my oil diffuser in my daughter's room. So it's round on the bottom. It's flat. And just like this cone, see this is flat right there. And then it should have like a point here, but this is pretty much cone-like. It's round. See that? And this would be the cone right there. A rectangular prism, you're probably like, what in the world is that? And do I even have any of those in my home? Look. Dun, da, da, da. It's a rectangular prism. Okay, it is a rectangle. Two sides are longer. Two sides are shorter. It's a rectangle, but it's also 3D. It stands out. It has that third dimension. So my drawing is very terrible, but in your book, it's like it's laying like that. Okay. So a rectangular prism could be a book. It could be a shoebox. It could be a dresser. Boys and girls, if you have a dresser that stands up in the drawers, it's a rectangular prism. It's just upside down instead of laying down, right? So you have a cone, rectangular prism. The next shape you have is a cube. So let's pretend this shape is a little bit taller. I think that it needs to be a little bit taller to be a total cube, but every way you look at it, it should be a square. So this I think needs to be a little bit taller, but it's the closest thing I could find to a cube in my home. So I'm sure there's probably more, just need to go hunt for them. But anyway, this would be a cube. It's like a square, right? A little box, has all sides all the same. This is the same length, 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 same length. Get the idea? Cube. Okay, if you have a Unifix cube, those are really popular now. They've come back. The next one, and I can set these all like here. So if I set this one here, it sits here. If I set this one here, it sits here, it doesn't move. If I set this one here, it doesn't move. Okay, the next shape I have is a cylinder. So see how it's round on the top, round on the bottom, and then it's like circular in shape. This is a cylinder. Also, you know, your cup is a cylinder. I'm trying to think, there's a lot of cylinders around the house too. So cans of soup or pop or soda, if you have those in the house. La Croix, if you drink La Croix, those are also cylinders. Anything that comes in a can is going to be a cylinder. So this is a cylinder, and I can also hold it on my hand. The last shape is a sphere. Now this is a circle, but it's 3D, so it's three-dimensional. It's all the way around. It's 3D. right? So, oh my goodness. I can't hold this one in my hand as well. My hand has to be totally level. So what is the same with these shapes? And how is this one different? Hopefully that helps give you a little bit better of an understanding of what I'm looking for with this problem. So, give up? Well, I will tell you. These shapes, the cone has a face. A face is where it's flat. So think of our face kind of flat, but this is called its face. So the cone has one face here where it's flat, where you could rest the cone on your hand, right? It sits on its face. The cylinder has two faces, right? It has this bottom face and it has this top face. So it has two faces. The next one, a cube, has 6 faces. It can sit here. It can get flipped 2. And then it has all 4 of these sides around, so it has 6 faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 faces. So that's a little bit different. The rectangle is the same way. The rectangular prism, I should say. Rectangular prism is a rectangle, but 3D. So it can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 4 all the way around, and top and bottom make 6. Because these are the same, right? Just one has sides that are all the same length. And this one has some that are the same length but are longer, and some that are the same length but are shorter. Rectangular prism, cube. Okay, so that's the difference. This sphere, it doesn't have a flat side. It doesn't have a face. So there it is holding in my hand, but because it doesn't have a flat side, it doesn't have a face, it can roll wherever it wants. It will roll on the table. So if we were in class and you set this down and see how it just rolled? Whereas if I take my cone and I set it on its face, it doesn't move. But I drop the, whoa, and it goes everywhere because it has no faces. It has no flat sides. If I drop this, it stays, right? Okay, so that's the difference. And that is what you would say. You would say the cone, the cylinder, the cube, hard C, cone, soft C, cylinder, cube, hard C, rectangular prism. This is 2 words. I probably should have given it more space. Rectangular prism. These all have at least one face. So the cone is the one that only has one face. The cylinder has 2 faces, remember, top and bottom. The cube had 6, and the rectangular prism also had 6. So they all have at least one face, whereas the sphere, it has no faces. It's completely rounded all the way around. There's no flat face, okay? So that is the difference. On the next page, it talks about these shapes again, and you can see them again because I know for some shapes are really super duper hard. Under Model It, it says make a check if true, make an X if not true. And then the first shape it talks about is our good friend, Mr. Cylinder. Okay, that's this guy, your can of soup, your can of green beans, or your pop. Okay, it says a cylinder has 2 circle faces. So I'm going to erase this. And then remember, we're going to put a check if true and an X if no. So look, here's one face and here's 2 faces. So you're going to put a check mark because that is true. It has 2 circle faces. This face is in the shape of a circle. this face is in the shape of a circle because it's a cylinder. Then the next one says two straight edges, two straight edges. This one is a big X. And that's not true because there's no straight edges on this. It's not like, you know, the rectangular prism where it has this really hard edge, this hard line here. It has a circle here and there's no lines. There's no corners. Okay, so that's false. The next one is the cube. It has, I'm just going to erase these. And what they put in there is they said 0 straight edges and 6 square faces. So if you remember from before, and I'm going to put faces because it's more than one. Faces, just one. Faces is plural. So 6 square faces. Remember, I have 6. I have 1, 2. So top, bottom, and then I have 4 around the sides. 2 plus 4 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that one gets a check mark. That is true. 6 square faces is true. And then you have 0 straight edges. No, this one has a lot of straight edges. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has a lot. So that one is false because it has more than 0. There's so many straight edges. I can see 4 just looking at the top of this. Below, a cone has 1 circle. What? A cone has 1 circle, what? Face. Okay, so in this first one, it's going to be face, soft C. So this is the one with the cone. A cone has 1 circle face. See that? That's the 1 circle face. It's where the cone can sit on top, is on that face. A rectangular prism has 6 faces. Oops, I gave you the answer, but it has 6 faces. So remember, just like the cube, they're just one stretched out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 faces for the rectangular prism. A sphere has blank faces. A sphere, where are you, sphere? No faces. 0 faces. Now we're going to turn the page and we'll be on page 781. And we're going to jump right down to number 2. It says, Boom says he can make a cube with 6 faces. Buzz says he can make a sphere with 2 faces. Who is right? How do you know? So I'm keeping all these shapes up here just so you guys can really understand them. But Boom says he can make a cube with 6 faces. Well, Boom is right. I'm going to give him a check mark. He's right because a cube has 6 faces. We know that, right? We know it's top, it's bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It has 6. So Boom is right. And then it says Buzz says he can make a sphere with 2 faces. Well, you can't make a sphere with 2 faces because spheres don't have faces. So if it had 2 spheres or 2 faces, it's probably going to be a cylinder, right? It no longer is a sphere. So Boom is right. So you're going to write Boom is right. Spheres don't have faces. They don't have faces. Nope. Okay. Number 3 through 6. We're just going to fill them all in. And I'm going to change the lines for the shape that they apply to. Okay, so number 3, it says make a check if true, make an X if not true. The first one is a rectangular prism. So it says 12 straight sides, 6 corners, 4 square faces. Ooh, we already know that one's not true, right? We know a rectangular prism has 6 square faces. Cannot roll. So then you're going to put an X or a check mark, an X if it's wrong, a check mark if it's right. And right now we are doing the rectangular prism. I'm going to draw mine like this because I feel like it's easier for me to draw it like this. Okay, there's my rectangular prism. Pretend that my lines are straight. Okay, boys and girls. Is that better? A little bit. Okay, so there's my rectangular prism. 12 straight sides. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's true. It has 12 straight sides. So we're going to put a check mark for that. If you can find something in your house that's a cube, or I'm sorry, a rectangular prism, then you should. And I apologize. It's still going to have, I did the cube, but it's still going to have 12 straight sides because you're just counting. So we'll start here on the spine of the book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not counting this one because I already counted it. 8, 9, 10, not counting that one because I already counted it. 11, 12, already counted that one and that one. So again, it's 12 sides, 6 corners. Let's see, corners would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's wrong. It has 8 corners. 4 square faces. Let's see. Well, I already know it has 6 faces and they're not square faces. So that one's wrong because this is a rectangular prism. They're not square, they're stretched out. Cannot roll. Nope, can't roll, so that one's correct. The next one is the cone. So we're going to pull up the cone and I'll draw it here. Looks like this. Okay, there's your, pretend this is a nice pretty cone. Okay. It'll do. All right, so it says 0 sides. 0 sides, which is false. It has 1 side, right? No, it doesn't. The side is different than the face. So just because it has a face doesn't mean it has a side. So the cone has no sides. It just has a face, and that's different. So 0 sides, that's right. Okay. The next one says 0 straight edges. That one is also true because there are no straight edges on this. There's none. There's no edges on here at all. It's all completely smooth. And then this is not straight. So that's correct. The next one is 1 circle face. 1 circle face, and that is correct. And the last one is 1 triangle face. There's no triangle face on this. 1 triangle face. So that one gets a big X. Okay, it has 0 sides, 0 straight edges, 1 circle face, and no triangle faces. This face is a circle, not a triangle. Page 782 has a cube, and it says describe the cube, make a check mark if true, make an X if not. So I'm just going to erase this time. And we are dealing with a cube, which looks like this. Pretend, again, they're all the same length. Okay. And it says 6 faces. So hopefully you can give that one an X right away, or a check mark right away, because we know it has 6 faces, 8 corners, 10 edges. I'm thinking it's going to have the same as the rectangular prism, and the rectangular prism had more than 10 edges. And then can roll. So we know it has 6 faces, 8 corners. Let's check it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it does. It has 8 corners, 10 edges. Okay, so I'm going to start. Let's see, I'll start at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, I'm not counting that one because I already counted it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I already counted this one and I already counted that one. So it has 12 edges. So that's wrong. Cannot roll. Nope, it cannot roll. That is the cube. It'll help you a lot if you can find these shapes around your house to do this with me. I'm going to erase that sphere. Next up is the cylinder. So the cylinder has that top and then looks like that. So it says 2 circle faces, 6 corners, 0 straight edges. Okay, so 2 circle faces. That's our first thing. 1, 2, top, bottom. That is true. 6 corners. There's no corners on this at all, so that's wrong. 8, 0 straight edges. Here's an edge, but it's not straight. Here's another edge, it's not straight. So that's wrong. Can roll. Watch this. It can roll. I just have to take it from here to here and it rolls. So we'll put a check mark for yes. The last one is a sphere, and that's this guy. A circle, but 3D is a sphere. And we're going to do the same thing with the sphere. So here's my sphere. And it has 0 edges, 0 corners, 2 faces, and can roll. All right, the first one, 0 edges. Yeah, it has no edges, right? It's just completely round. So that's a check mark. Yes. 0 corners. Yes. 2 faces. No, it has no faces. And yeah, this bad boy can roll. Good job. I hope you're understanding these 3D shapes. I think it's a lot of fun. So the next 2 pages are practice. So you're going to keep doing what we were doing before, where it's describing these shapes and saying if it's true, you put a check mark. If it's wrong, you put a big X for it. So the first one is a rectangular prism, and it says 12 edges. And all edges the same length. And then the last one is 7 corners. And boys and girls, they're going to try to trick you. So let's count and see if it has 12 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I already counted those, so I know that's true. It has 12. All edges are the same length. Well, look, this edge is way longer than this edge. So that's a no. 7 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a no. A rectangular prism has 8 corners, 2, 4, 6, 8 corners. 12 edges that are all different lengths. Describe a cylinder. So a cylinder, what they give us for the cylinder says 2 circle faces, can roll, and 0 corners. And then we're going to put a check mark if true and an X if false. So here's my cylinder. 2 circle faces. 1, 2. Yes. Can roll. Yep. 0 corners. Yep. So all 3 for the cylinder are true. Next up is the cone. I'm going to change this to 1 circle face, 3 corners, all right. So we have 1 circle face, 3 corners, and can roll. And this is the cone. So 1 circle face, yep, right there on the bottom. So that's a yes. The cone has no corners. There's none, so it can't have 3. And can it roll? Yeah, it can roll. This part is rounded. So yes, it can roll. The next one is a sphere. This is cannot roll. And then it says edges. Forgive my mess. But it says 0 edges. And I dropped it rolled away from me. So no, it cannot not roll. It can roll. So that one's false. Okay, 0 corners. Yeah, it has 0 corners. And yeah, it has 0 edges. It's a sphere. It's like a basketball, a soccer ball, a baseball. Okay. Number 5, look at these shapes. Circle all the ways they are alike. Ooh, I like these. This is fun. So what you're going to do is you're going to deal with the rectangular prism and the cube. And you're comparing them. So if you need to grab your rectangular prism, your book, and your cube, whether it's a stack of Post-it notes, that would work for this. It's tall enough. And then we're going to count. We're going to circle all the way. So it says 12 edges, 8 corners. A, B, C, D. Okay, so we're going to go through each of these and see if they are correct. So the first one says, circle the ways that they are alike, 12 edges. Well, this one has 12. I've counted these so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This one is the same. It just is shorter because all the sides are the same length. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, they both have 12 edges. So you're going to circle A. Now 8 corners. Remember, we did this. We said 2, 4, 6, 8. There's a top and bottom on each one. So this one has 8 corners. 2, top and bottom. 4, 6, 8. So this one's true. So we'll circle B and we'll circle A. All square faces. Hopefully when I wrote that down, you knew this is a rectangular. It's not square. These sides are longer. So that one is not true. 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So the answer is A, B, and D. All right, I hope you're having so much fun learning about 3-dimensional shapes and 2-dimensional shapes. If it's not making sense, let someone know. All right, and we will take care of you. Bye for now.